Well, there you have it, folks. Free agency has just begun. Teams are making deals. Teams are making trades, big time trades with a lot to announce and so little time to do it. I rushed home in order to be able to make this video for the Packers here, and the Packers are no strangers to getting started early, especially in the Brian Gutekunst era for sure, as the Packers have acquired two new Green Bay Packer players. First, let's take a look at the Packers' first signing, which was Christian Kirksey from the Cleveland Browns, inside linebacker. The first reason why we signed him is because he was going to come at a pretty good price. It's not like we were going to have to break the bank for an average starting inside linebacker, so it made a whole lot of sense for the Packers to get a look at him, and they did bring him in for a workout, so that was kind of a pretty good indicator that the team was interested. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was a signing, but it turns out that he was signed, and he was signed for 2 years for up to $16 million. Some reports have it for being $13 million. I'm not sure which one is true yet. But either way, the Packers are getting a pretty decent deal out of it. If it's $16 million, then at first glance, you would say that he's going to get about $8 million per year. Well, when you look at the details of the deal, going for the order of the 2 years, it's actually not that bad when you look at it. Within his first year, he'll get a base signing of $1,025, and then you have a $2 million signing bonus, and then a couple of added extra incentives of $125,000 and $250,000 in workout bonus, which rounds out to probably about a cap hit of $4,250,000, and then that would probably put roughly at a dead cap of probably $4 million, which is actually not very bad at all. If Kirksey disappoints, it won't be too much to be able to release him after just 1 year, so the potential out is after this season. And then in 2021, things get a little bit different here, which is we get about $3,000 worth of a base salary with a base, and then it's going to increase a little bit, and then you get the same signing, a little bit of a bigger roster, and then you get a bigger roster bonus. And then the per game is going to go from the extra added incentives are going to increase there as you look at the graphic, and then with the cap hit being at $8 million, which makes a lot of sense. But the dead cap will be cut in half to $2 million. So after the 2021 season, you can easily part ways with that deal. So it's not a great contract, but certainly is not a bad one. This is a good deal by the Packers in terms of price range. The second reason is that there is a big need at inside linebacker. Not only do the Packers need not one, but two starting inside linebackers for this upcoming season, because it's very likely that this signing here is speaking volumes that the Packers are moving away from Blake Martinez, and there are reports that the Packers are going to go for possibly looking into getting Corey Littleton, but they have to fend off the Las Vegas Raiders, who are bidding for his services as well. But this pretty much says that the Packers are saying goodbye to Blake and hi to some new starting blood there at inside linebacker. And another good reason is Kirksey has experience as a starter. Now, it was with the Cleveland Browns, and for a while he definitely had a lot of promise starting out, and then things started to waver for him a little bit. Injuries kind of played their part in it. On top of that, some other guys kind of came in and took over, like I'm talking about Wisconsin's Joe Schobert, who took over that middle linebacker role, who is now a free agent too. And if you guys just think about it, it's a possibility that Joe Schobert could also be coming here from Cleveland to Green Bay, and maybe could get a little bit of a reunion between these two former teammates, and they become teammates here in Green Bay. So, like I said, this is actually a pretty good deal for both sides. Kirksey is getting a pretty decent deal for given the recent disappointment in a few years, and actually kind of like this where the Packers are buying low and maybe things can turn around in a better place. New scenery for Kirksey, and I welcome him aboard to the Green Bay Packers. And now on to the Rick Wagner signing, which was a 2-year deal worth up to $11 million. And I think that's a pretty good deal too, as he was going to come at a pretty good price. There was not much of any reason to really break the bank for him, as the Detroit Lions did, which is why they released him. So when you break down the deal right here, he's going to get a $2,250 in a base salary with a $1 million in signing, a small roster bonus, small workout, with a $4 million cap hit, and that would account to $525 worth of dead cap. So that'll be a little bit tough to part ways with that contract right off the bat, as he's going to get paid quite a bit of money in year one. But then in year two, things get a little bit easier, where the base salary stays about the same, roster signing bonus is the same, and then the workout obviously the same. Cap hit is going to increase a little bit, but the dead cap goes down to a reasonable $1.25 million worth. So in case the Packers need to part ways with that deal, it would be very easy to have that out. But I'm not expecting Ricky Wagner to be much of an issue here. I think he's going to be a very good starter for the Packers. Well, the price is definitely right. And the second reason why Wagner was signed, because he has experience as a starter. It looks as if the Packers are going to. This signals the end of Brian Bulaga here in Green Bay, and it looks like that. Signing a veteran offensive tackle was probably a good plan in the works. I initially thought that Cordy Glenn would have been a really good signing, and I think he would have. But Rick Wagner is also a pretty good close second that I had in mind. When the Lions released him, I was thinking of him as a possibility, but then again, he was kind of coming off somewhat of a down year in Detroit, where Pro Football Focus had him rated at a 59, but the year before he had a 71 rating, which was more to the average side. But who knows, with a change of scenery and coming home to Wisconsin, I believe that Rick could probably reestablish himself and play on a better football team with a better quarterback and a better supporting cast for an offensive line, and that's why Rick could easily work out for Green Bay. So I'm actually kind of excited to see a Wisconsin guy come home, and he's from West Allis, and so he played his college ball days at UW-Madison. So that is another really cool added bonus in there, is that we got a Wisconsin guy coming back home to Wisconsin to play in Green Bay for arguably the greatest sports franchise of all time. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the team. I'm excited for Rick to see what he can do here in Green Bay. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about the two signings of Kirksey and Wagner in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Go Pack Go.